Hello, this is Demian Allan's astrology channel, and I'm Demian, of course, and this is your astrological perspective for the coming month of April 2022, where I'm going to be looking at the key dates to look out for in the month, what to expect from astrological level, and how to survive the next 4.5 weeks. So we start off with the 1st of April, and that's a really kind of key date, actually, because straight away we have a new moon really early in the morning, 7:24 GMT time, and a new moon is at 11 degrees in Aries. So the sun is in Aries and the moon is in Aries, that particular point. And remember, we came off on the 20th of March, we came off the back of a spring equinox when the sun entered into Aries. And now we have the first new moon. It's really kind of significant. I love this new moon usually. I'm like, this is the go-getting new moon that kind of says, right, okay, we got to go for and conquer and putting new ideas out there. Now the moon is waxing in energy. So it's growing its strength, but, and this is going to be the funny thing about April, actually, from an astrological point of view, is that it's quite a heavy going month of lots of chopping and changing between planetary energies and between zodiac signs. So we have this new moon that kind of kickstart 1st of April, really gets kind of things going, and this is all leading up to a major conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune to look out for. But anyway, we start with this significant new moon. Now, when we look at the new moon in Aries, we're looking at significant features in how the other planets are doing at the same time. And we've got Mars come off the back of a separating conjunction with Saturn in Aquarius. We've got Venus and Mars in Aquarius. So we've got quite an Aquarian theme. And that always brings about a bit of destabilization, but nothing actually changing. So it's because Aquarius is a fixed sign. So that doesn't quite work. And it's kind of revolutionary kind of energy. It's energy that's very difficult to control. And that brings us into an awareness on our level that actually brings out more humanitarian aspects to the collective. But with the Aries energy, which is a selfish energy, and selfishness can be very good sometimes, it means that it's a contradiction to the energy of the Aries. So as a collective, we don't kind of know where we stand at this energy. We're like, well, we want to get off and do our own stuff. And, you know, we can't because we feel responsible for the collective. So it's a bit of a sort of a funny energy that's sort of taking place. And then on the 5th of April, Venus enters into Pisces. And that kind of joins the party because we've got Jupiter in there and we've got Neptune in there. So that suddenly shifts this Aquarian focus into this sort of Piscean. This is what I'm sort of getting across, is actually that you've got this Aries energy beginning, then you've got a slight Aquarian energy, and then you've got a Pisces, and they're very, very different from each other. And so the pace of this month is going to move very, very fast. So Venus enters Pisces about just after 4 o'clock GMT time in the afternoon. And that kind of is very nice. Venus is exalted in Pisces, works really well, very good for artistic, for the creative, for the spiritual. There's something very aesthetic about that, and, you know, symbolism of oceans and other worlds and connecting to other worlds and transcending beyond the ordinary. Fantastic. So that does help. And that amplifies the major stage, which is happening on the 12th of April. So Neptune takes just over 165 years to orbit right around the zodiac signs. Jupiter takes 12 years. So these two don't make a conjunction often. But the most important thing is that they're in their own sign. Now, I have a little bit of a thing about this because basically I call myself more of a traditional astrologer. I use the traditional rulership, so Jupiter still remains my ruler of Pisces. And with the outer planets of Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, I'm not so sure I like to assign them to zodiac signs or rulerships, much more collective. And this is the reason why is because I don't think Neptune in Pisces works really well. We've had that since 2011, and the whole smoke and mirrors, and Pisces doesn't like boundaries, Neptune doesn't like boundaries. It's running riot, and it has been since 2011. What's the truth? Who says the truth? This, this story, that story. At the moment, there's just no boundaries. So those two don't go well together. And I feel it's caused a lot of problems in culture and politics and all that kind of stuff, as we are today. Now, you got Jupiter in there, and Jupiter likes to magnify and make things bigger. And on the 12th of April, these two they make a conjunction, side by side in the sky, around about 15:42 GMT time in the afternoon. And that for me is a kind of like amplifying the issues that we've experienced since the beginning of the transit of Neptune in Pisces since 2011. So 11th, 12th, 13th, I'd expect some kind of event that we just think, my God, is this really happening to all of us? Almost like a film. Is this really going to happen? It feels quite otherworldly. Or no, surely this wouldn't be the case. Now, with Jupiter, it's like amplified. It sort of makes things bigger. So it's not necessarily the case, but there's a sort of vision of a slightly utopian vision these two get together, and I don't see that. I feel like Jupiter doesn't like boundaries either. It's a bit better than Neptune, but doesn't like boundaries. So therefore, you've got this whole energy that is kind of blowing everything up, making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And with Neptune and Pisces, there's always a kind of need to escape from it, escape from the real life, get away from the real life. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes we need time out. But as a collective thing, this could be very difficult. And what I'm trying to say is, like, on the public forums, on the public stages and politics, and people who have voices, we may have very confusing signals as to what is really happening and what other people really believe and what's really going to happen. And that, I think, is kind of, we're getting into that stage where we really don't know. And so things are said that are not actually going to be followed through, but it might seem at the time that it's very, very scary. And it's kind of like, this can't be happening to us. This can't be real. This is like a movie. And remember, Neptune rules films. So just be kind of aware of that. And, these are kind of key dates for this month. That's 11th, 12th, and 13th of April, because that for me is really significant. On the 11th of April, just before that, Mercury enters in Taurus, which will stabilize things a lot, because Mercury at the beginning of the month was under the beams of the sun, so it really couldn't kind of do what it likes to do. And then, just to add to the party, on the 15th, Mars goes into Pisces as well. And Mars is a bit of a tricky one in Pisces. It's really early in the morning, so it joins that party. You've got Venus, you've got Mars, you've got Jupiter, you've got Neptune. So we go into this very, very Piscean energy that we really got to be kind of very aware of, that comes in. And then on the 16th, full moon at 26 degrees in Libra, 1955 in the early evening. That's going to make a square aspect with Pluto. So it's a pretty intense full moon. If you got planets near at the end of the cardinal signs of 27, 28, 29 degrees in the cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, then you might feel this full moon energy quite a bit, and you might feel a little bit destabilized at that time. So it's a key date to look out for here. So I think that week of the 11th of April all the way up to the 17th, there's a lot going to happen in that. There's a lot, and things get blown out of proportion. Things are said that might actually happen, but it feels like it's going to. It just feels very erratic, I would say, there. And then on the 20th, things stabilize a little bit better. Things become a little bit earthed as the sun goes into Taurus. So we're not in that cardinal energy of the Aries sun. We stabilize a little bit, make things a little bit easier. but we'll need that. We will need all to feel like we've got a ground during this time, especially from the week of the 11th on, you know, that will need to be grounded and solid, because that's going to be really a challenging time, I would say. And then as we go forward on the 29th, Pluto goes retrograde backwards in the sky. And Mercury enters into Gemini. Finally, Mercury can do something in Gemini, although don't get too excited, because as it goes into Gemini, it'll also start squaring all those Pisces planets. So it might not be able to do quite what it would normally able to do. And then on the 30th, we have another new moon. So 2 new moons in the month, but this is a partial solar eclipse. And it's just before 9:30 p.m. GMT time, and it's at 10 degrees in Taurus. And that's applying a conjunction to Uranus here. And if you've got planets in the fixed signs, and you're particularly if you're a Sun Taurus that's born 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of May, or if you're a Leo born on the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of August, or you're a Scorpio born on the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of November, or you're an Aquarius born on the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th of February, then you're going to be hit by this a lot. Things get unearthed, things move, endings, new beginnings. It's all going to happen there, and it's going to be much more erratic than it normally is, because you've got the Uranus factor and a bit of Mercury as well there as well. So it's a really kind of packed month where a lot happens in a very, very short space of time. But look out for that week of the 11th. That's when it all kind of kicks off and things get blown out of proportion. And in order to survive, we just got to kind of go, right, okay, keep grounding and, you know, try not to move into the fear. Having said that, let's just look at the positive of the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, because there is a positive aspect as well. There's a very empathetic, very spiritually orientated, and if you're not attached to the fear, actually, that can be good in your own development and in your own and a different level of consciousness and awareness taking place for us all. A different way of working, perhaps. It's very charitable, so maybe charities get a big you know, energy of finances or support that comes in, and it plants seeds for the way that we see other people and their lives. So I reiterate that thing, plants seeds. It's not the full manifestation of it, it's planting the seeds. But, you know, the planetary energies, you know, the planets don't have like personalities and feelings, but it depends as us humans how we respond to that, and whether we respond in the positive way or whether we respond negative, or we stay neutral in it. But it's really significant month, you know, and usually of April, it's about, you know, moving things forward, conquering, having a vision, go forth and conquer, go forth and get it, be direct. This is a funny one because you've got so many influences. You've got the Aquarius influence, you've got a bit Taurus, you've got Pisces, heavy dose of Pisces, you know, you've got Aquarius at the beginning. So it's all chop and changing, and it will move very, very quickly. It's a very restless month, and that's what you got to look out for, you know. Plus you've got 2 new moons, plus you got a partial solar eclipse right at the end. So, you know, hold on to yourselves and remain grounded. Anyway, look, I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, press the like button, and also please subscribe to my channel. It does all help, and I look forward to giving you another video for May, and some more videos coming up on astrology and teaching. So keep watching, but thank you very much till now.